Hello everyone. The subject which I'm going to discuss is cost management for the third year BCom students, and it's for sixth semester. And the last video I discussed about what is cost control and what is cost reduction. Now in this session, that is session 2, I'm going to discuss about difference between cost control and cost reduction and what are the techniques of cost reduction and which are the areas covered by cost reduction. So we'll discuss all this one by one in detail as to what are the differences between cost control and cost reduction. What are the advantages of cost reduction? In the last session, we had discussed, I had clearly stated about what is cost control and cost reduction. Cost control is controlling the cost as per the predetermined standards set up by the company, and cost reduction is reducing the cost of the per unit of the product. So on the whole, cost control, well in advance they have fixed as to what should be the cost of the production product or what should be the profit, all that by preparing budget, standard costing, by applying standard costing, so on and so forth. And that is applicable for cost control. Then what is this cost reduction? Cost control, they are going to control the cost as per the standard setup, whereas cost reduction is going, they are going to reduce the unit cost of the product by applying various methods of techniques which wherein this techniques reduces the cost. So as we have discussed in the previous session what is cost reduction, we'll see what are the advantages of cost reduction. As the cost reduces, the profit increases. We all know how to calculate profit. Cost of finally we'll get cost of sales. That is all the total cost. Cost of sales are total cost inclusive of cost of production, factory cost, selling cost, all that. When we total up this, we get total cost. Sales minus total cost will give us profit. So if you want to increase this profit, then you have to reduce the total cost. And how the total cost will be reduced? By cost reduction. And how is this possible? Cost reduction means what? You have to apply various techniques and various tools for reducing the cost. So advantages is cost reduction increases profit, and cost reduction will provide more money for where labor welfare schemes and thus improve men management relationship. So here it is clearly stated that when the cost is reduced, it doesn't mean that it is useful only for the companies. It is also very much beneficial for the human resources also. Once the cost reduces, naturally that is the indication of the development of the company. When the company develop, what they will do, they also see to that they'll provide more of the labor welfare schemes. When the more of labor welfare schemes is introduced or given to the laborers, that naturally will give a better relationship for men management, which means to say that labor also will have very good opinion about the company. They also will feel like we have to work more and more for the company. So obviously this will improve the relationship between the management and the workers. And also cost reduction will help in making goods available to the consumers at cheaper prices. One by one, when we see this cost reduction, not only is a good indication for the company and it is development for the company, it also is beneficial for the human resources, and finally it is also beneficial for the consumers. How it is beneficial for the consumers? Even we see only taking into consideration a small scale of the products of production. On the whole, if all this are applicable to the whole company where they are manufacturing n number of products, finally what happens? The total cost reduces drastically. Profit increases, of course, but to some extent they will look into the profit. And if they feel that this cost is increasing drastically because of this cost reduction, the company also might think of reducing the price of the product. So what does that mean? That means that even the consumers are benefited because of cost reduction. Cost reduction will be helpful in meeting competition effectively. When the price of the product decreases, naturally what happens? People will tend to buy the products where the price is less. When we go to purchase anything or when we go to market, we see the options where the quality is good and also the price is less. Cost reduction main principle is that when we are decreasing the cost, that should not be compromised with the quality. So when you are giving a good quality product for a cheaper price, definitely the consumers will opt for that product only. So when there is demand for the product by the consumers, that really indicates that you are facing the competition effectively, you are meeting the competition effectively. So the competitors will not be able to give the product for that price because maybe they would have not applied this cost reduction technique. Because this company is applying this cost reduction technique, definitely they are ready to give the product for a lesser price. So when the product is given for the lesser price, consumers will demand for that particular product. When there is demand for that particular product of the company, the competitors fail. Higher profit will provide more revenue to the government by way of taxation. See, this is like one cycle. Uh, as because of this cost reduction, not only the company, employees, consumers are benefited. Finally, even the government is benefited. How? Because you are making more profit, you have to pay more tax. When the tax is paid, that is beneficial for the government for upgrading the society for the development of the economy. So finally, what when we think only the government are benefited, no. The economy also is developed because when tax is paid, that tax is used for the development of the economy. As a result of reduction in cost, export price may be lowered, which may increase total exports also. See how it goes on and on. When the prices of the products are reduced, there will be demand for the products not only in our country, also in other countries also. Abroad also there will be demand for the products. So when there is demand, what happens? Export increases. When export increases, that's a good indication for the balance of payment. Always export should be more than imports. We all are aware of it. So this is not only for the development of the economy, it also helps in balancing the balance of payments. Cost reduction is obtained by increasing productivity. Therefore, a developing country like India, which suffers from shortage of resources, can develop faster if it makes the best use of resources by increasing productivity. So, one of the basic principle of cost reduction is you have to use the resources available in the company effectively. When the resources are used effectively, that leads to the faster development. When the economy is developing, that really indicates that our country is also developing at a faster pace. So like this, we can see like how and all this cost reduction is helpful. And cost reduction lays emphasis on a continuous search for improvement, which will improve the image of the firm for long-term benefits. Okay, for this particular year, they have found out a way how to reduce the cost effectively, innovative way, technological way, implementing technology. Okay, fine. With that, they will not stop. They will do research and innovation and see to that for a long-term benefit. Also, this is applicable. So we should not be satisfied. Yes, this year we have made a good profit, good returns by reducing the cost. No. Next step they what they will do is they'll see much more innovative way where they can reduce cost much more better. So this cost reduction is a very important technique which is beneficial for each and everyone in the country. What are the difference between cost control and cost reduction? Cost control focuses on decreasing the total cost of production, while cost reduction focuses on decreasing per unit cost of a product. So from the last session, I had keep on emphasizing that cost control is on the whole, because on the whole total cost of production will be taken into consideration, whereas cost reduction emphasize and give importance for decreasing per unit cost of a product. And cost control is temporary process in nature, unlike cost reduction, which is permanent process. This should be ongoing process. Cost reduction is ongoing process, whereas cost control, it is a temporary process in nature, which means to say that for that particular period, it is determined, and again for the next period it will be much more newer one. But reduction is, it's a permanent, it's ongoing, they keep on doing it again and again. The process of cost control will be completed when the specific target is achieved. Conversely, the process of cost reduction is a continuous process that has no visible end. It targets for eliminating wasteful expenses. As I told you, like for that particular target, they would have predetermined the cost, and they'll compare the actual cost, and if everything is over, that's fine with cost control. But this cost reduction is a continuous process. They try to eliminate the wasteful expenses, and it is ongoing again and again and again. Cost control does not guarantee quality maintenance of products. However, cost reduction is achieved 100% quality maintenance. So this already we have discussed, where the cost control gives importance for controlling the cost, and on the whole it might reduce the cost. But cost reduction give importance for the quality first. Based on the keeping the same quality or much more better quality, it tries to reduce the cost. So 100% quality maintenance is there in the cost reduction. Cost control is a preventive function because it ascertains the cost before its occurrence. Cost reduction is a corrective function. So this clearly indicates the difference between cost control and cost reduction. Cost control is a preventive function. Preventive function means, as we had discussed, the costs are predetermined, and it is preventive. It states that this should be the cost, and they prevent to avoid unnecessary costs. So it can be very well termed as preventive function, whereas cost reduction is a corrective function. They find out the ways and means why the cost has been increased, and they try to take corrective actions. Cost reduction is a basic function. Cost reduction basic function is to take corrective action, to check where it has gone wrong, why this has happened, and sees to that it takes corrective action, and also this cost reduction sees to that it will not repeat it. So it's cost control is preventive, whereas cost reduction is corrective. What are the techniques of cost reduction? Yes, we are discussing about like cost control, cost reduction. It can be done, how it can be done, all that. And what are the techniques? What are the tools we have to use for this cost reduction? Budgetary control. Cost control also is using the same technique, but this cost reduction will be in much more effective way. Budgetary control, standard costing, then standardization of products and tools and equipments, simplification and variety reduction, improvement in design. So each and every aspect of what is required for the product is taken into consideration. The product will be of the standard products, and what are the tools and equipments is used for that. Then simplification and variety reduction. You have to simplify the product, and variety should be there. Then also improvement in design. All this will be taken into consideration as the techniques of cost reduction. Material control, labor control, overhead control, production planning and control, automation, how the materials can be controlled. In this one, standard costing will be saying about how the variances occurs, material variance, labor variance. That means what is the standard fixed for the material, what is the actual cost, standard cost minus actual cost, you will get the variance. And that variance can be, as I told you, favorable or adverse variance. When the cost, actual cost is more than the predetermined cost, then it is adverse, and when it is less, it is favorable. So how the material can be controlled, that only the material will be taken into consideration and checked. Labor also, idle time will be erased completely. They'll check out where the idle time is more, idle time of the laborers is more, and they'll take corrective actions. Similarly, overhead. other than all these overhead expenses wherever it is possible. That also will be brought into one control. Production planning and control. Production planning and control is also one of the important technique or effective technique. When you plan your production well, how right from the beginning, right from how the raw materials are used and how the final outcome of that product is there, until there, right from the beginning to the end, if everything is checked in the production, if it is planned very well, that also can be controlled. Then automation, as I told you, nowadays automation is in zoom. Wherever it is possible, if you use automation, laborers can be reduced. Like it, investment might be more, but it will be for a longer period. When the automated machineries are purchased, initially it may be difficult because the investment will be. But since it can be used for a longer period, that will be much beneficial. Operations research can be conducted. Market research, as we all know nowadays, market information has to be updated. Only then it will be very effective. So marketing research can be done. Planning and control of finance. Finance is the lifeblood of any business. So when the finance is brought into control, unnecessarily if the finance is um, outflow of finances more, that can be controlled. Only where it is required can be used. Value analysis can be done. Then quality measurement and research also. Quality, how the quality is, how it can be rectified, all that if it is checked. And similarly, if research is done for the same, then everything will become effective. Cost benefit analysis, how the cost benefit analysis can be taken into consideration. Contribution analysis, then PERT, performance evaluation review technique also can be taken into consideration. Job evaluation and merit rating. So each and every technique has its own benefit, which we'll be discussing in detail about value analysis, value engineering, all that. What are the areas covered by the this cost reduction? We'll be discussing in each topic. Next, we'll see what are the areas covered by cost control and cost reduction, product design, target costing, value analysis, value engineering, value chain analysis, business process re-engineering. So all this we are going to discuss in detail one by one. Thank you for listening to this audio. Any queries, you can contact me. Thank you. Thank you one and all.